Everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm James Tryon, and I'm joined with Scott Bolinger. He's the one of the creators of AppPresser, and today we're going to be talking about how AppPresser can work with LearnDash. Thanks for joining us, Scott.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So in this interview, we really just want to go over AppPresser and let our users know how it can be beneficial to them, why someone might want to use AppPresser with their LearnDash course, and see how it actually would integrate in, and what would the processes be if someone wanted to create an app. Could you maybe walk us through some of those processes?
Sure. Yeah, and I hope that this would be useful, even if somebody decides ultimately not to use AppPresser. We can talk more generally about just creating a mobile app with your courses, your WordPress website as well. So yeah, the first thing I think when you're thinking about putting your app, your courses into an app, you're probably, you have a few different options, and those would be like custom app development and, building the app yourself, or maybe using a tool or an app builder like AppPresser. So just briefly, the pros and cons of those approaches. I mean, custom app development is a fantastic option if you have a pretty sizable budget and you have a good amount of time, and you also have the budget to continue paying for maintenance and updates to someone for that. So with a custom app, you can get everything developed exactly as you want it for your business, which is great. It does get pretty pricey, in the, let's say on the very low end, low 5 figures in US dollars, and going up from there pretty quickly. And then, you have to find a capable agency, someone who's willing to help you do this kind of thing. And then once the app is built, then you also need to be, maintaining it, doing bug fixes each time there's like a new platform release, like a new iPhone size or something. You're gonna have to release a new update, which means paying them lots more money to retool everything and release it. So that's great for some people. Most people probably don't have the time or the budget to do that type of thing, or maybe not the desire. You could obviously build the app yourself, and if you have the skill to do that and the time, then that's great. I don't need to, mention much more about that. But for most people, I think using a tool like AppPresser can really be a great option, because it helps you to get an app quickly and affordably, without having to kind of reinvent the wheel by, starting from scratch, building all these things and taking all the time and everything. You have a team like at AppPresser where we've been doing this for years, and we have this code base that's been, built and tested on lots of different apps, and you can just kind of jump in and build your app, get it released to the App Store, pretty quickly, and for not a lot of money. So for some people, this might be, you could maybe think of it as like a phase 1 of the app. So if you really have high hopes for your business and you want to have, a million app downloads, and you want to be like the next big thing on the App Store, that's great. Maybe an app with an app builder like AppPresser could help you kind of just get your feet wet, get your app out there, see how people like it, get some feedback, and then you can always build on it from there. So the way that apps work, or you can always, overwrite the existing app that's in there with something else, or you can, build on it, things like that. So you're not limited at all.
Well, that's great. There's a couple of things you mentioned there that I've not really ever thought of. The biggest is probably the maintenance. I guess coming from a custom app, coming from the WordPress world, you're just used to the developers doing routine maintenance for you. You buy the premium access, you get the support. But coming from a custom development app side from a phone, I guess you wouldn't necessarily get that ongoing maintenance that's just baked into the support. So using a service like yours, you would get the maintenance.
Yeah.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, for sure. That's something that people sometimes don't think about, is like, I'll give you an example. If you had built an app a few years ago, and then like before the iPhone 10 came out, and then when the iPhone 10 came out, the screen size changed, it had the notch, like all the phones are getting bigger and everything. Basically all the apps had to be, rebuilt with these new screen sizes. And it wasn't like you had to start from scratch, but you had to modify some things to make room for the new screen sizes and the new features on iOS, if they have like new privacy releases and things that you have to do in your app to make sure you're up to code with the app stores. you have to release updates. And so, one thing, when you look at like a monthly fee for an app builder or something like that, sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want to pay a monthly fee, which I totally get. I don't like monthly fees either. But actually, in the long run, if you look at like paying someone to do these updates for you each time you need to release a new update, paying a monthly fee probably is a much lower amount that you'd be paying to keep your app up to date than if you had to pay like an agency or developer, thousands of dollars every time there's a major update.
What devices does AppPresser work on? Like if you were to build
Yeah.
native apps with AppPresser,
Yeah,
what
so
apps would you
all devices, iOS and Android devices, phones, tablets. So basically, we support all the major modern devices.
Awesome. You did mention earlier that AppPresser helps get into the App Store. Well, could you explain that process a little? How does that work
Yeah.
for someone to get their LearnDash app into the App Store?
Yeah. So maybe we'll start from the beginning. So the first thing that you need to do is kind of get the app built to where you can put it together and have something to test on your device. And then once that stuff is all done, then you start working on submitting to the App Store. So just briefly, you do need to purchase your own Apple, iOS, and Android developer accounts. So for iOS, it's $99 a year, and for Google Play, it's $25. And then the apps are submitted on your behalf to your App Store account. And then so that like your name is on the account, you have full control over it. And then like, at least in our case, we don't like take the app down from the app stores if you cancel or something like that, because the account is under your full control. Some app builders actually do take the app down when you cancel. We don't do that. But so to get the app to the app stores, it can be a little bit complex. And that's another reason why having a team to help you get there is pretty helpful, because you do need to create certificates for iOS. You need to, create your app store listing, submit the app to the app store, which normally requires using Xcode, but obviously with a tool like AppPresser, you don't need to do any of that stuff. We do all that stuff for you. So we actually create those certificates for you, give you instructions on what you need to do to create the app store listing. And then AppPresser actually sends the app to the app stores for you. And all you have to do is publish it or submit it for review.
Oh, wow. That takes a lot of the headache away from doing that. Like I don't think I've ever fully completed that process on my own. I think I've only made test apps and then handed it off because of all the work involved. So to know AppPresser is helping with that side of things, yeah, that's a handful of work I don't want to have to deal with. So
yeah, it really is a pain. I mean, it's even a pain for us, like us who do it every day. Apple just doesn't make it easy. Google's a little bit easier, but there's still several steps involved and places where you can kind of get hung up. And it's important to kind of have somebody with experience to help you get through those things, because it can be pretty overwhelming.
Well, fantastic. Well, good thing AppPresser has a team to help support that. How long has AppPresser been around?
Yeah, so I think we officially launched in 2013, or I could be getting wrong. It could be 2014, but I think it's about 7 years.
I was hanging out with Brian in Miami a couple of years ago.
Nice.
It was the last time I actually got to see. So I'm excited for today's demo to see how AppPresser has changed and what your team is doing with LearnDash.
Yeah, we've made a lot of updates in the past few years. I mean, especially since we launched for sure, but we just released a new LearnDash integration. So it's all API based, which means it's feels much more native and faster, more performant. It's going to be a better experience for your students. And so, yeah, I'm excited to show it off. Do you want me to just kind of jump into a demo?
Sure, let's go through some of that.
Cool. Hoping you can see my screen here. So I've got just a WordPress site with my courses on it, and I'm going to kind of show how we get that into the app. So these courses are, they have topics and lessons and quizzes, course materials, things like that, probably very similar to LearnDash customers, what you guys have. So if we want to get this into the app, we obviously need everything to work. We need the courses to show up. We need people to be able to log in and see their progress, mark things as completed, and take quizzes and get certificates and do all that kind of good stuff. And maybe even some other stuff too, like we want to show, our blog posts from our blog. We want to send push notifications. We want to maybe have a social component with, where people can message each other, and maybe some other WordPress features, like maybe have a contact form or something like that. So I'm going to show you how AppPresser can help you do that. So what we want to do is take this website and then we want to get it into an app kind of similar to this one. This is kind of the end product, which is where we're going to be able to see our courses in it. We're going to be able to view the lessons and topics and quizzes, mark things as completed. We're going to be able to log in. I can show you that real quick. So with AppPresser, you're able to log in using the same login that you do for your WordPress site, which is, so anyone who signs up on your website will automatically be able to use the app using the same login. They'll be able to see their course progress, and it's all synced up with the website. And then they can view their, their course content, such as their courses, their lessons and quizzes and things like that. And then they can mark those complete in the app. And then that is also synced up with the website, so that then once they go to the website, it's now going to see the same sort of items as completed. And if you have it set up to, give out certificates and things like that, that can also, you can have them be emailed a certificate once a course is completed or a quiz is completed, something like that. So we can also have, our blog posts. Go ahead, James.
No, I was just saying that's great. I know a lot of our users were asking about the syncing, like wondering, like, is it the same data? Is it different data? Like when users participate in the course online, is it the same course? So you're saying it all syncs and it's the exact same as your site?
Yeah, it's all the exact same. So we're actually, one of the things that we did with AppPresser is we didn't want to have a separate place, separate content away from your site. So AppPresser actually uses the same, data and database and everything from your WordPress site. So everything is always synced up. Some app builders, you would actually go like rebuild your courses or republish your blog posts like on their platform. But with ours, that doesn't happen. If you make a change to a course or a lesson or a quiz or whatever, that will actually be reflected in the app. And same thing, like if you publish a new blog post, that will show up in the app. You don't have to go to another place to publish those items for a second time.
Gotcha. Now, one quick question on that. Does the AppPresser cache your version, or meaning like what happens if your hosting goes down for some reason? Like let's say your site hiccups. Does your app data also currently offline?
No. So if your website was offline, like let's say someone was, viewing a course like I am right now, and then your website went offline, this sort of stuff right here is cached inside the app. And so that wouldn't go down.
Gotcha.
What might happen is if they try to get new data that they haven't seen already, or like take a quiz or something, that would be a problem. But it wouldn't like bring the app down.
So they would still be able to like read and continue on with their lesson. They just might not be able to take the quiz till your host comes back up.
Right. Cool. And of course there's, we have some offline capabilities to where you can download like course materials offline, like PDFs and videos and things like that. You can download those offline, which would be, would not be affected by the site.
Right. Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So with AppPresser, the way that this works is you would sign up for AppPresser and you would be shown, this is kind of the dashboard where I have some apps built already, but creating a new app is pretty simple. You would just give the app a title. You can choose some colors. We go through some configurations that I'll just kind of breeze over here because they're not, I don't want to get too stuck in the weeds. You enter your WordPress URL, and then that's going to tell us where to get the courses from. And then you can just choose the LearnDash courses template, if that's the type of app you're creating, and then click Create App. And what it's going to do is set up your account and start getting everything ready for you to actually, test on a device. And then after that's done, you're going to be shown the app customizer like this. And what you can do in the app customizer is you can change the colors, you can add your branding, like you can add a logo, and then you can actually change around the pages. So in my case here, we have a visual course or like a kind of a block-based page builder. So I have my course list here. And then if I wanted to, let's say, add some, I don't know, like a title above it, I can just drag and drop and move things around, say welcome. And then if I wanted to add something maybe below that, I can add like a login button, or I can even add the other things that we have. Like you can put in some custom content, like a Google map, or maybe like a link to your website, or some information about your courses, whatever you want here, you can put in, like custom HTML there. And then you have the option to, change the icons, and you can also display, you can choose if you want to like only show this menu item when people are logged in. So for example, if you have some pages that you want to be kind of protected for only certain users of the app, you can do that. And you can also protect content based on user role, not just log in or log out.
Cool.
Yeah, and then you can add new pages. So we have lots of different pages that you can add. You can integrate BuddyPress, WooCommerce. You can add in media like podcasting and lots of different things like that. So AppPresser doesn't just do LearnDash. We have integrations for other plugins as well. So if you're using like WooCommerce and then you also have LearnDash courses, you can integrate both of those things. You can add like a gravity form for your contact form. You can add in, WordPress posts and custom post types, have people be able to view and download media, such as like videos, audios, and PDFs, and kind of move the app around and, customize it as much as you want.
Do you by chance have an example of a BuddyPress version? Because I know a lot of our users also will throw on a social layer, and then they'll usually use BuddyPress or BuddyBoss with that.
Yeah. So we don't actually support BuddyBoss. We support BuddyPress. And so BuddyBoss has their own app solution. But if you're not using BuddyBoss, we do support BuddyPress. And I can show you what that looks like. So in the app, you actually have activity where you can, filter by friends and mentions and things like that. So this is the kind of like the BuddyPress activity feed where you can comment on other people's activity, and you can post your own activity updates.
That's cool.
You can also add images and media and stuff like that. And then if you wanted to, let's see, you can, view people's profiles, you can add friends, you can actually send them private messages, get a push notification, kind of like you would do in a messaging app. And then if I go to my messages page, you can see that our message screen is kind of similar to like an iMessage or something like that, where you can actually see your messages and then friends' messages and things like that.
Fantastic. Now my internet locked up for a quick second. So it was when you were talking about the push notifications or the messaging. So did you say AppPresser does support push notifications?
Yeah, it does. So you are able to, like with BuddyPress, it is hooked up to where if you get a mention or a private message, you can get a notification. You can also send notifications manually. So like for your courses, if you wanted to say, hey, we just released a new course, go check it out in the app, you can just send that through the My AppPresser dashboard. And then we also have a push notifications API where you can build in custom actions that actually send notifications. And then we do have segmented notifications available where people can sign up for specific categories, like, if you wanted to only get notifications for one type of course, and then you could send out messages only to that one type of course. So it's pretty flexible notification system.
Awesome. That sounds great, actually.
Yeah.
Someone was asking about the learning curve of building your app, and it seems like once you sign up with your app and you pick the template you want, your builder seems pretty nice. That's cool. Be able to customize the page templates, and
Getting to this point, yeah, is pretty simple. I think the harder part comes in where, like if you have, sometimes we see people with like plugin conflicts or things that are kind of stopping the like API from working correctly. Sometimes we have to work through those. And then once you get to App Store submission, it does get a little bit more complicated. And I can kind of go over that. Uh, but yeah, just setting it up to this point, and I think at that point, people will have to decide if this is exactly what they need or if they need something customized. And we do actually do provide a service where we provide customizations for people if they just want a little thing here or there tweaked, or kind of a new feature built. So if this is close enough to where you need it to be, and then you just need one extra feature, we're happy to provide that.
Could you tell our users what type of content would suit best for an app? Like,
Yeah.
I guess that's the question. Like if someone was trying to leverage an app for their courses, how could they optimize their content for their users in that environment?
Yeah, so I think that you just normal like text and media content works great, and there's nothing that you really have to change. I think that the only thing you might run into with an app is if you have some custom interactive feature as part of your course content, um, like a HTML5 canvas element where people are like, I don't know, drawing a doodle or something and like submitting that as an assignment. Stuff like that it would have to kind of be supported in a custom way. That's just not a thing that most people do. And so if you have something like that, sometimes it won't be supported out of the box in the app. But if you just have normal, like a lot of people have like PDFs or videos for their lesson materials, and then they have just kind of text and videos and audio, in their course content or their lesson content. Then they'll have the interactive quiz. All that stuff works out of the box.
A lot of our users have recently started using H5P. Do you know if AppPresser supports the H5P content yet?
I did have a customer actually tell me that I think it does. We have not done full testing on that yet. So if people need that supported, have them shoot us an email, because we'll be working on that.
Gotcha. And honestly, I should do more research on H5P myself. I think it's just a technology to use our other technologies, but like bundled. So individually, I don't think it's anything too special, but I think it's a framework used to bundle like videos on top of like interactions and almost like fancy PowerPoint, but I haven't really had a chance to use it. I've just had to like configure it once for a client. So I need to personally read up more on that myself.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit the difference between why someone might want to use an app versus why someone might want to use the native focus mode or the native responsive aspect of their site.
Yeah. So the app doesn't replace your mobile website. I think it's still important to have a really good mobile website. What the app is for, it provides some features that you can't really have with the mobile website. Some of the big ones would be like push notifications, which you can't do on mobile Safari, and installing the app. Just for some reason, like with like a progressive web app or a plugin you add, you can like save your site to the home screen. But it just isn't the same. Like most people don't know how to do that. Even if they do, they won't do it because it's too much work. Downloading the app from the App Store really is a special experience. So having your brand, show up in App Store search is one more way to kind of, interact with your users. Also, with apps, that a lot of times on the mobile site that you'll have like the browser Chrome taking up a lot of space, or the responsive design is, maybe you think it's good, but it's like not quite there to where a mobile app can be. Whereas with a mobile app, it's designed specifically for a device with all the like gestures and touch actions and everything. And even a little bit is all it takes with mobile to really frustrate someone. And I mean, I experience this all the time, especially when I'm buying stuff through my mobile device. It's where everything is optimized for mobile, and it seems like it should be the best possible experience, but it's just frustrating enough to make it not worth it. And so with an app, it just takes it kind of beyond that to where it's designed specifically for a mobile device, and everybody's on their mobile devices these days, especially taking courses, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using like their iPads or their Android tablets, just kind of like laying in bed, and especially during a pandemic, or sitting in their car like waiting for something, and just kind of log on real quick and maybe take a lesson or two. So a higher amount of engagement, even if it's just a little bit, I think can make a big difference for any business.
Do any of your customers currently use like a single sign-on with your app?
So we offer WordPress login and registration, just with username and password, and then we also have Apple and Google sign-on. Single sign-ons beyond that are usually something that we can integrate custom. We do have like hooks and filters and things you can use with our login system if there's something in particular you need to use. But the way we have it set up right now is you can register for free if you have that enabled, the same way that you would register for free on a WordPress site to take sample courses or whatever. And then also being able to purchase courses, which is something we should discuss as well. So diving into purchasing courses, it's important to know that if you want to sell your courses, which most people are doing, you do need to use in-app purchases in the app. And the reason for that is just the app stores require it, or else they'll reject your app. So if you try to submit an app and you are selling courses on your website, but you're not selling them through the app, or you're trying to sell them through your payment system on the app, like WooCommerce or MemberPress or whatever you're using to take payments, then they won't allow you to do that, because anything that is digital content, something that's used in the app, or like a membership, that does need to use in-app purchases. And so what happens with in-app purchases, I can actually go to like a sample purchase page we have here, which is, you basically have a purchase page that has terms of service and all the information the app stores require. And then you need to provide your name and email, and then you sign up and it goes through the app store. So let's say you charge like, $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever it is. Then that money will actually go through the app store. The app store takes their cut, which is about 15%. And then what we do with AppPresser is we create the user in WordPress and give them access to your courses while their subscription is active through the app stores. So what we can do is give you all the information in WordPress that you need for like, hey, this user purchased, and give them access to the course. And then when they cancel, remove their access. But the actual money does go through the app stores.
2 follow-up questions on that. So as long as they have an active subscription through the App Store, they still have access. And when they cancel that, AppPresser makes sure that they're removed from the course or removed from the store?
Yeah, that's correct. So we actually have a way to, the app stores send us a notification when someone cancels. And so we keep track of what purchase belongs to what email. Because I mean, the crazy thing is, if you in the app stores, they don't tell you who purchased. So like, you'll have somebody purchase for like $10 a month. It'll just be like randomized information. It won't be like scott@thisemail.com. So you can't actually link those up yourself. It has to be done programmatically. So we've taken care of all that, kind of abstracted away the difficulties there. But it is an extra step, and you have to take into account the 15% that the app stores take. So what I recommend doing is you can increase the amount that you charge inside the app. And so you can charge 15% more in the app than you do on the website. And that way your customers will probably figure it out that they should probably purchase through the website, because they're still allowed to purchase through the website. It's just the app stores want the in-app purchase to be there for them to use if they choose to use it.
That was my follow-up question. I was concerned that the Apple was saying you can only sell your course access through our app, not through your website. So you can still sell on your app, your site, and through the.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
And yeah, so if you see like, for example, Udemy, the way that they do it is they make the app purchase more expensive than what you can purchase on the site. And then what I also recommend doing is you basically have like one in-app purchase for to release, a bunch of courses. Let's say instead of selling courses individually, it's much better to have like a subscription where you get access to multiple courses. than it is to sell the courses individually, because in-app purchases are very complex to set up and to keep track of. And so with AppPresser, you do get one in-app purchase. You look at our pricing plans to see what you do need a certain pricing plan to get in-app purchases, but we don't actually, if you want to like buy courses individually, it does take custom development from our team to set up, because it is pretty complicated. But like I said, you get one in-app purchase included with the plan. And that way you can be like, hey, pay me, $99 and you'll unlock the courses, or $50 a month or whatever, it'll unlock these courses for you. You could also say, if you want to purchase courses individually, go to the website.
Okay, makes sense. But someone was asking in the Facebook group, is the Learn AppPresser app in the App Store, is that a good representation of the current code base? Is that?
Yeah, it is. So there's a couple updates that we still need to push to it, but it does have the newest LearnDash integration.
Awesome. Cert generation. When someone completes a course through your app and they get awarded a certification through LearnDash, would they also be able to see that and get access to that on their phone? Is that generated at the same time? Is there any delays there from a standpoint of a user? Like, I just completed my course on my, on the bus ride to work. When I get to work, I needed to show my cert. Can I still pass my test in time to show my boss I did my cert on the bus?
Yeah. So what we recommend is getting a plugin that will email the certificate. So there is a plugin by Uncanny Owl that will email the certificate immediately. So you do get it immediately. Due to the way that LearnDash generates the certificates, it's difficult to get those in the app. So that may change. We may kind of build that into the app, but right now it's pretty simple to just install that plugin, and you just finish the quiz, pass it, it just emails you the cert right away.
Awesome. Yeah, I know there's some big changes coming to our cert builder as well, so I'm looking forward to those.
Yeah.
But cool. Is there any other areas of AppPresser that you want to show to our users?
Yeah, let's talk about like previewing the app and submitting it to the app stores.
Okay.
So in the actual app customizer here, I guess we do have some other things like some customization settings that we have here. I'm not going to go over all these, but you are able to, change your app icon and splash screens, upload a custom splash screen, header logo, things like that. I won't go over all of that, but to customize or to actually get the preview of the app on your device. So when you sign up, we do actually build the app for an Android device right away while you're on your free trial. And then, so you should get an email with a link to be able to download that to any Android device right away. iOS is a little bit more complex because they require, setting up a bunch of certificates and things like that. We are working on a preview app right now that may be out by the time this airs, but if you don't see anything for that, then what happens is we set up all those certificates for you on your developer account and make sure your device is included. And then what you can do is go in here and choose an iOS or Android build and just build that. And then once the app is compiled, it'll send you an email with a download link. So it's pretty easy once it's set up. And we also have a button here to rebuild the app preview, which is this right here. So that if you make some changes that require a rebuild, you can just go ahead and kind of recompile this app preview to reflect those changes. And then when you're ready to submit to the App Store, once we set up everything for you, all you do is just click on Submit to the iOS App Store, click on Build App, and then that's going to do everything that needs to be done to actually send your app file to the app stores. And I can show you, let's see. So for iOS at least, I'll show you what the actual App Store looks like on the back end here. So when you submit your app to the app stores, you are able to, you create your App Store listing, this is your listing right here. You can create screenshots for your app, add a description, all that kind of stuff. And once you're done doing that, the App Store builder actually does this part for you, the build, which is the actual, it's called an IPA file. It sends it to the App Store. And then once that's uploaded, you can add that in here and then submit your app for review. So you don't actually need to use Xcode or the transporter or anything like that. You don't need any special software. The AppPresser builder does that for you. And then on Google Play, it's a similar process where you go into Google Play and create your listing. And then the app builder will actually send you the file that you need to upload to the Play Store. And you can also automate that so that it automatically sends it to Google Play. And with Google Play, you can actually just go into the AppPresser builder, go to submit to Google Play and build that. Once it's set up, it will actually just automatically publish that, and you don't need to do anything else. With iOS, you do actually need to go in and add the build and then submit for review, which is pretty simple compared to doing it yourself, which is, I can attest to, is a pretty big pain. So we've simplified it quite a bit.
The images that are used as part of the, the display in the App Store, how would your customers customize those? Is that part of?
Yeah, so I think they're referring to these, like the images that are actually on the App Store listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we actually have a blog post. If you go to apppresser.com blog, we have a blog post that says how to create great looking App Store screenshots.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, and we have some examples, and then we actually have free Figma and Photoshop files. So there's a couple different ways you can do this. There are like online generators of these App Store screenshots. So what you can do is take a screenshot of the app while you're on your device, and then you upload it to these online generators. To get good images, you need to pay for them. So if you want to do it for free, then we have Figma and Photoshop files. Figma is a free online photo editing program, and we have all the instructions you need to do it on Figma without having previous experience, and kind of customize them to get screenshots that look like this. So it's up to you. There's basically, you can do it for, pay some money and have somebody do it for you, or do it on an online generator, or you can do it yourself using, our files. And then you basically just upload those in App Store Connect or Google Play, and that'll display it on your App Store listing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great resource. And then you're even providing the files or the links out to everything else. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so I'll just show you real quick. All you have to do is click to edit it, and then we have these. Oh, it's not going to show because I'm not logged in. Hang on, let me log in here.
Yeah, Figma's snuck up on us lately. Like it's been replacing several of our Adobe applications in-house.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a long-time Photoshop user, and Figma is a lot better for certain things.
It's been good for team feedback, I find, because they can view what I'm doing in the browser everywhere without worrying about what device.
Yeah, it is great for that. Let me find an image real quick. So what you could do with this is, this is probably not going to fit correctly, but you basically drag and drop an image in here and resize it. And then you go over to the App Store listings, and it's already automatically inserted in there for you where it needs to be. And so all you do is just drag and drop your images into each of these screens. And then you go over to the App Store and Google Play, and it's already kind of filled out for you. And then you just export those.
Well, that's great. Like, almost like smart objects already for you.
It is, yep.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And beyond that, once you have the apps actually submitted to the app stores, at that point, you just need to worry about, getting people to download it. So advertise it on your site, and, you can look into some app store optimization if you really want to, have some download banners and things like that. And then, as far as updates go, it's the same process. So if you want to make some changes and then send an update to the App Store, you do the same thing. You just increase the version number, and then you go in and, run this submit to the App Store build again and submit for review or not with Google. And it's pretty easy to run those updates, and those don't cost you anything. You don't have to pay anybody to do it for you. And then you automatically get all the new code that we are, constantly working on and making improvements on. You kind of get that automatically. So like right now we have an update to BuddyPress messaging that I've just been working on today, or we have like a WooCommerce filtering modal thing that we were working on that's going to be pushed out soon. So all that kind of stuff you just get automatically, and as well as like bug fixes, or if there's like a big platform update that needs some changes, we automatically handle that for you. And then all you need to do is, if necessary, you submit a new build to the app stores. But most of the time you don't need to submit a new build to the app stores, because you're probably just making changes like with your content in WordPress, and that stuff shows up automatically. So the only time you really need to submit an update to the app stores is if there's like a native change, like let's say you didn't have push notifications, then you added push notifications. That's actually the native code that needs to be updated in the app. Or there's like offline files that you had embedded in the app that you wanted to change, things like that. But you can actually move menu items around, change colors, update a lot of the content, all without submitting any updates to the App Store. So it's pretty simple.
Fantastic. Well, we're coming up on the hour mark. So is there any other areas that you want to show our users before we start wrapping it up?
No, I don't think so. You can try out AppPresser at apppresser.com. You get a free 14-day trial, and we're interested in getting feedback from LearnDash customers. And so if there's certain features of the app that you really need, just contact us, and we're pretty supportive to building stuff into the app if a lot of people want it. And then again, if you need custom features just for your app, we also provide that service as well.
Fantastic. So in closing, I'll ask one last question. In your environment, what is one piece of advice you would give somebody looking to succeed? Does that make sense? I can ask the question better if you would like. I'm trying to figure out, how can we help our learners succeed, but from an app point of view?
Yeah, I'd say simplify as much as possible. We have people emailing us saying like, I want to rebuild, like I want to do Uber for like personal trainers, or I want to like do Twitter for chefs or whatever. It's like, okay, Uber has literally raised like $20 billion or something crazy, and have like thousands of people on their employ, or hundreds, whatever it is. And like, you're probably not going to be able to do that. You're probably not going to be able to do what you think you're going to do. So keep things simple. Like if your LearnDash courses, if the most important thing is for people to be able to just log in, view the course content, mark stuff as complete, take quizzes, focus on that. The other crazy stuff that you want to do, like geo-targeted this, or like barcode scanner, whatever like crazy thing, just save that for like phase 2. So at first, get the one thing that's most important to your students, get that done and in the app stores. And then like think about the crazy features after that.
That's great advice. Thanks, Scott. I really appreciate your time today joining us. And where can our LearnDashers reach you if they have any questions?
Yeah, apppresser.com. So that's APPP. Presser. And then you can send us an email, support@apppresser.com, or go through our contact page. If you go to our website and just check out the LearnDash page, you'll see a lot more information about our LearnDash integration. And then you can kind of just try it out, it's a free trial. So
awesome. Thank you. And thank you for your time today. These webinars are brought to you from LearnDash, and they are brought up from the group. So a lot of our audience in the Facebook group is really interested in AppPresser. So we reached out to Scott and set up an interview. So if there is another topic or someone that you would like us to interview, please reach out in the Facebook group. Thank you for your time.